Welcome back to the channel. Side Hustle Cinema here. Thanks for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Vinegar Syndrome's latest release, a 4K release of Ticks. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on the movie, spoiler free of course, and then we're going to take a look at the packaging, the picture quality, the audio, the special features, and I'll let you know whether I think it's worth picking up or not. And this review does include some side-by-side comparison shots between the Blu Ray and the 4K disc. This is my first time watching a Vinegar Syndrome 4K disc of any kind. I've got a few Vinegar Syndrome titles in my collection, but none of them are 4K. This is my first one of those, so I'm really excited to check it out. Ticks 4K has a aspect ratio of 1.85 to 1. We are getting a new 4K scan from the 35mm inner positive, and that includes 9 additional minutes of footage that has never been released before. It wasn't on the Blu Ray back in '93, wasn't on any VHS, which brings the runtime of the movie to 94 minutes. It's a quick ride. It's a quick movie. For audio, we're getting a DTS HD stereo track, and the HDR is standard, it's your standard HDR. There's no upgraded Dolby Vision or HDR10 Plus. We're just getting the standard HDR on this one. Alright, so let's take a look at the packaging on this movie. We got the very nice slip box here. I mean, this is got a nice hard shell slip box. There's a look at the side. There's a look at the back there. You got, that's Clint Howard on the back. I'm infested. Huh. That's great. Really nice slip box on this. The front here is a little glossy, and then the rest of it's a matte finish. On the inside, you got a slip cover over the case. Again, it's a matte finish. This up here is glossy, and it's embossed a little bit. That's one of the stars of the movie, Amy Dolenz on the cover. Some ticks. Nice bright green. There's the spine. There's the back of it there. Really nice that they put a slip cover in there too. It's like super heavy, thick. One of the thickest I've ever seen. And this is what the case looks like. It's a solid case. It's not an eco case or anything. You got the same artwork as on the cover of the slip box. There's the back. The artwork is reversible. It reverses to the slip cover, artwork. I'll go ahead and show you real quick. That's what that looks like. I'll probably just go with the cover art from the slip box. I like it a little bit better. On the inside, you got some artwork there. You got pretty much the two artwork pieces from the slip box. This is the Blu Ray here. This is the 4K. Those look really cool. As far as packaging goes, honestly, this is really top tier. 10 out of 10 for me. I don't know how they could have done it any better. Artwork's great. The box is awesome. Slip cover, disc art. Solid case, no eco case. They covered it all. They got it. They got it right. So now let's talk a little bit about the movie. So Ticks came out in 1993. It was directed by Tony Randall, who you'd probably know from Hellraiser 2. That's probably one of his more popular movies that he did. This movie, I mentioned it's 94 minutes now with the additional footage. This movie had $1 million budget and was a straight-to-video release. First time I saw it, it was on pay-per-view back in the day. So you could have rented it or got it on pay-per-view, but no theatrical release on this one. This movie is a straight-up monster movie. The plot goes that You have these kids from the inner city that are been counseled, by this couple, and they're taking them all on a nature retreat, up in the woods. But up in the woods, of course, there's all these illegal pot growers that have been using all these crazy chemicals on their marijuana, and including like some growth hormone stuff and this and that, and it's gotten into the tick population. So there's all these cocoons up in the woods that have these giant ticks in them. They pretty much could have called this movie Spiders, because this would have worked with spiders as well. These things are as big as a tarantula. But it's really cool. It's all practical effects, no CGI. Even some stop motion animation is done in this one. It's definitely gory. A lot of ooze and pus and a lot of blood splatter. The movie stars Seth Green. He's pretty much the lead character in this one. It also has Alfonso Ribeiro. He was Carlton from The Fresh Prince. He's pretty funny in this one. He plays he's supposed to play like a street, tough guy, like a gang member or something. And he's got the name Panic. They call him Panic because he never does. That's it. That's his line in the movie, and it's really comical to watch him try to play, this, sort of thug gangster type guy. All you can hear and see is Carlton when you look at him. All the characters are over the top in this one. Amy Dolenz is in this movie. She was in a lot of movies in the late 80s and early 90s. You might recognize her. She plays the princess character, so she shows up in a BMW. She's brought along her boy toy, and he never has his shirt on during the movie. It's always off. And so every character in this movie is just like extreme. Whatever they're supposed to be, it's over the top and it's extreme. I don't think it was meant to be like a horror comedy, but it definitely has some comedic vibes to it. You might find yourself just sort of chuckling at the movie and not necessarily with the movie sometimes. But honestly, that's one of the things I loved about it, is it doesn't really take itself too seriously, and it's kind of a fun time. It's a fun watch for sure. So now I'll get into the picture quality a little bit for you guys. When I first watched this 4K transfer, I was actually going to probably give it a lesser review until I went back and watched the Blu Ray, and I realized how much work they put into it. I took some comparison shots. These are the shots that I took with my camera, and so I hope you guys enjoy these. This first shot I'm going to show you guys is it's the actress Amy Dolenz in the movie, and I think this one is a good representation of the clarity and the upgraded resolution, and it shows really well in this photo. I think you notice that the Blu Ray is a little bit blurry. The 4K side is much sharper. The color on her sweater is a deeper purple, and there's just like a little more detail, a little more clarity on that 4K side. And here's a picture of the cabin sign, like in front of the cabin when they were just pulling up. And you can see on the Blu Ray side how like it looks all a little bit washed out and faded. You can tell on the 4K side that there's definitely more detail. The sign, the color on the sign pops a lot more. A little more detail in the trees and the rocks. The green on the leaves is definitely improved. And yeah, that Blu Ray was really kind of a mess. There definitely is a layer of grain throughout this movie. I'm not a big grain fan, but I can handle some grain, especially if it's a light layer and it's kind of even and controlled. This one, honestly, some shots it's very clear, and there doesn't seem to hardly be any grain at all. And then other shots is pretty heavy on grain. And that was a little bit distracting for me. Because it was like, you'd be watching it, it's like, ooh, that looks like a really nice scene. And then maybe the next one is a wide shot, and it's like, oof, where'd this rainstorm come from? All of a sudden it looks like, like you got a movie. It looks like it was made in the late '90s, and then the next scene, it looks like it's something from the '70s. I mean, it's a little inconsistent with the grain level. Now, the color grading and the HDR was a mixed bag, sort of a hit and a miss at the same time. And I'll show you with some more comparison shots here. This photo here of, the character Panic and Seth Green, they're in this room, and you can see, like on the 4K side, you can actually tell that Seth Green has red hair. And you can see, the blue on Panic's shirt, the green wall. Everything's just a little more vibrant, a little nicer looking. On the Blu Ray side, it's a little washed out. You almost can't even tell that Seth Green, has red hair. In this shot with Peter Scolari, this close-up of his face, on the Blu Ray side, there's good detail on the Blu Ray side. There's good detail on the 4K side. The 4K side, though, it does this thing that's pretty consistent throughout the movie, that they seem to put this red tone on all the skin colors for the most part, and it kind of makes people look like they have a tan, In this picture, it's not too bad. I'll show you another one of Seth Green and this girl from the movie. I forget her name, but, I mean, look at her in the 4K side. I mean, she looks like she just got back from the beach. Although they did not a good job with, adding some vibrancy to the colors and making the colors pop a little bit, they sort of oversaturated the skin tones, in my opinion. I think they made them too red. If they could have went back and, spent a little more time correcting the skin tones, making the skin tones look a little more natural without losing the vibrancy of the color pops, then this would have been a lot better. I've got one more photo. This is Amy Dolance and her, boyfriend getting out of the van. Even his shirt looks like a lot more, a lot more sharpness, a lot more colorful, I guess. The red of her shirt really pops. But again, you can kind of see that red tone on the skin a little bit too much. So if you're still hanging with me and enjoying this review, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you're unsubscribed to the channel, I invite you to join the channel and hit that subscribe button. And as always, leave a comment about anything we talk about during this video. Now back to the review. And so now I'm going to talk about the audio. This was a big disappointment. All we got on the audio side was they call this audio track DTS HD stereo. It was just so weak. I mean, the dialogue came through clear. I didn't have trouble hearing anyone. But as far as like using the surrounds at all, it just wasn't there. I mean, not at all. It was extremely weak. It was totally front heavy. I mean, almost exclusively, almost as if it was like a 2.0 track. All the dialogue, everything came from just the center and the two front speakers. The subwoofer had a little bit of action, but not a lot. I mean, there was no big rumblings or anything like that. No audio, like the soundtrack or the score of the movie. There wasn't much there either. It doesn't really have too much of a score or, a soundtrack to really speak of. They just didn't spend any money on audio when they made the movie. And I don't think Vinegar Syndrome spent any money trying to enhance the audio at all for this release. And they really missed an opportunity, because this movie it's outside, it's in the woods. So you think that they could have added, some natural, sounds to make it a little more immersive. You had like scenes with a roaring fire, where the forest was on fire. You could have had crackling fires all around. The ticks were like attacking the house, and so you had them running across the ceiling and in the attic and up on the roof. And they had them making like little noises, and it would have been amazing to have had those coming through the height speakers or the surround speakers, and traveling across the room. Anything like that would have been just so immersive, so amazing. But we got none of that. It was just like watching it pretty much on your TV, with your TV speakers, or maybe like even a low-level sound bar. So now moving on to the special features. So as far as the special features go, we got the original audio commentary on here from the director and Clint Howard. Also, we got a new audio commentary track from the special effects coordinator, Doug Beswick, and the stop motion animator, Yancey Calzada. There's also a 3-part featurette on here called Under the Skin. It's the making of Ticks, and they have it in like 3 different sections. It has various actors and the special effects coordinators, the director on those. No Seth Green in any of the special features though. No interviews with him. No commentary from Seth. So now it's time for my overall thoughts of whether or not I think you should pick this one up. This movie's a little bit expensive, guys. I mean, it's after you pay the shipping. I think it cost me like $46 to get it to the house. So that's kind of pricey, honestly. Is it worth it? It was for me. I enjoyed the movie. I liked the movie back in the day. I enjoyed the heck out of it when I rewatched it. It's got rewatchability. I could see myself watching this one maybe every year, maybe every 2 years at least. Going back and revisiting this one. It's quick, it's fast-paced, it's kind of fun, it's funny. Good special effects to it. So, I like the movie, and it doesn't hurt that this packaging is awesome. So if you like a good monster movie that's maybe in that same line as an 8-Legged Freaks or something like that, then I think you would enjoy the movie. If you collect for packaging, then I definitely think you should pick this one up. But I never expected to see Ticks on 4K. So this was great. This was amazing to me. I would definitely recommend the movie to people. So, if it sounds like it's your type of movie, I say go ahead and pull the trigger on this one and pick it up for your collection. Or, wait for that Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale. Maybe they'll have it on that and you can get it for half off. Then I think it's a steal. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. So until next time, you guys have fun, stay safe, keep watching those movies, and we'll catch you on the next one.